Well, again, I think we're getting good looks. It's a make or miss league, and we got to be ready to shoot it on the catch. Shot preparation's got to be there, but I think we're getting good looks. We're getting better looks once we swing it, and then take that shot. Some of the tough looks we've taken are coming down in transition, no pass, 3-point shot, very low percentage shot. So we've got to make sure we, swing it to the weak side. And Cal during the year had a pretty high percentage on transition threes coming down and pulling up. But few of the shots that our whole entire team that we took in transition I thought were tough shots. We got to make sure we have patience, but then when the ball swung around to us, we got to be ready to pull the trigger.
What do you guys learned about your opponent and specifically playing at this level this far in the playoffs?
What did we learn about our opponent?
Games
That game 1 and 2. I don't understand what you're asking.
Well, you're in the conference finals.
Uh-huh.
Team's never been here before.
Right.
What have you seen as far as playing up to this level this far in the playoffs?
Well, one thing that we faced every round you go to, the margin for error is very small. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You make a mistake, that team makes you pay, and so that's why every possession becomes even more important. Offensively and defensively, I think our guys are learning that now. Because there's segments of even in the first 2 games, which broke our backs. We played pretty close, and then there's that 3 or 4 minute segment that we don't execute, we don't get make good decisions, and it breaks your back.
Could you often speak of the growth process? How important is this as a learning experience now being on this stage against this level?
Well, the last couple of years, Josh, have been, first year in the playoffs, last year in the playoffs, and this year, our steps our program has taken with our guys. Last year was a huge learning experience, very painful. This year was a very different learning experience, winning the first round in 7 games, having to go 7 games, having to go to 7 games in the second round, now going through conference finals. So every time you go through this, you learn, you grow, you improve. You learn the level you got to play at, the execution you got to have, the attention to detail. The higher you go in the playoffs, you have to have. All that is great learning experience for all of our guys.
Is there a balance between taking advantage of home court tonight and not trying to do too much?
Jared, I don't, I think we just got to come out and play. You play hard, intense, attention to detail, keeping focus, shorten those runs for a smaller amount of time instead of 3 minutes. Again, you're not going to play a perfect game, but we got to make sure we get a better balance in those stretches of 3 or 4 minutes where they don't break our back and cut those minutes down. But again, playing at home is good for us. I think our guys are comfortable here. Our fans are great. They give us a little bit of extra energy. So I expect a better performance here at home tonight.
Dwane, that second unit that you guys been causing everybody headaches. Has that been a focus?
It has been, Brian. I think that's one of the things that it's on myself to figure out. The matchups is the problem with Fry at the 5 and James at the 4 is the issue. How do you do that? Bismack does a great job of protecting the paint. Now all at once he looks around, and all at once his matchup is not at the rim. He's out at the 3-point line. So that's an issue, and so we got to figure that out as far as who we match that up with. And
Strange thing, basically, you literally never played together.
I know that's the
You didn't have data points to go to.
right. They just started doing that. The first time they had that lineup was in our series, and so again, I thought we did a better job last game. Still, we can do a better job, and a lot of it is our defensive spacing, our rotations, where the help is coming from is distorted. And we got to do a better job of figuring that out.
Why is it so distorted?
Because Channing Frye is a stretch 5, a 3-point shooting 5. And that's the reason why he's all over the place instead of down in the low post where normal 5s are. And we had a little bit of that, Bruce, with Winslow, but he's not the 3-point shooter that Shannon Frye is.
Because of that, when LeBron's off the court at the end of the
Yeah, yeah. When that's when you got to make sure you get Kyrie under control. That's the trade-off you have, is the differences. And he's playing at a all-star level. It's kind of his show when LeBron goes out. So it's a different feel, different approach, Jared. And when LeBron goes out.
Were you okay with some of those Kyrie possessions? He didn't get to the basketball, get to the basket as much as he did in game one. So a lot of one-on-one stuff and some pull-up mid-range. Are you okay with that?
Well, we'd like to make it tougher. We don't like him scoring, John. But you got to pick your poison is a good answer, and we got to do a better job of making sure. We want to try to make him miss. That's the bottom line. But he's playing well. We want to do some things to try to slow that down, to kind of get him under control a little bit more, even in the mid-range game.
Obviously, any team with LeBron stopping him in transition is easier said than done. But how much has that been a focus?
That's on us. That's on our guys. Going for the offensive boards. Again, all year long, we've never sent guys to the offensive board or emphasized it. Now we got two or three dudes going to the offensive boards, and so we can't do that. We got to be disciplined on the raise, get back, load to the basketball, and for whatever reason, in the first two games, we haven't done a good job of that.
In addition to giving you guys some basketball answers that they can use tonight, how much do you go to character things or rocking talks or anything to sort of draw on that?
Steve, if you have to give the Newt Rockne talk in the conference finals or NBA finals or anything like that, I remember in Dallas we used to show videos, rap videos. We didn't even watch tape. There's, that's the maturity and the growth you got to have this time of year. It's not about getting yourself going and playing hard. That should be a given at this time of year. The things we got to do is attention to detail, the uncharacteristic things we're doing, going to the offensive boards, not getting back, our bigs not up at the level of the screen and pick and roll. Instead of being in the first two series, we did a decent job of that. Not a great job, but a decent job of that. But all at once now, we're doing things out of character that, again, are growing. I don't think it's the stage, but again, the higher you go, the further you go in the playoffs, the less mistakes you can make. And because teams like Cleveland and the further you go down the road will make you pay when you make some of those uncharacteristic mistakes.
Does playing soft on LeBron, is it more difficult when he has more weapons around him and therefore you're sort of opening up passing lanes?
Yeah, the negative of that, I understand what you're saying, playing off of him, and that's when he does get a head of steam coming at you. There's a cushion we call it a cushion that you got to get with a guy like that. You can't get too close and you can't get too far back. You get too far back, now he gets a head of steam coming at you, and you're exactly right. He's got weapons all over the place that you got to cover, and we can do a better job of covering him. But if you get too tight on him, now he uses his strength and speed to go use it against you and leverage, and now he's still doing the same. So there's a fine line between how close you can get to use your strength and how far you can get away, and now he gets a bounce coming at you. So very difficult, but again, it's the timing of the weak side of how fast they can get there, and then the timing of the rotations out and understanding who's rotating out. I thought we got twisted a little bit the other night on our rotations out on the weak side.
You haven't broken out any of the 2011 tape at all, have you?
No. It is the different era, different day. And I would say this team has way far more three-point shooters than that 2011 team did around LeBron and Dwane Wade. Which would make a zone, and I think it's what you're talking about, a zone defense a little bit more difficult. But there's things we can do, John, that we got to do better. We got to do better. Some things we can do that we have to do better.
They haven't shot the three well, really. They've point emphasis coming in. Is that encouraging, or is it demoralizing that they're finding other ways?
Well, they did in a stretch of the game the other night. They've knocked down 2 or 3 straight threes. But the threat of the ride sometimes is as bad as the ride itself, as John Chaney used to say. So again, your spacing is kind of your nemesis. If you're not close enough to get out there, you know that threat is always there. So there's things that we're looking to live with versus what we want to give up. And again, but you can't let him have all areas.